3, 4, 5. I think that worked. So what we need to do now is go to integrations. That was at least 10 seconds. Well, so if people can hear and see me, then that's a good thing. What I need to do... Oh, I'm so angry. I've now got ringing in my ear. I've got actual tinnitus in my ear. What I need to do is go to integrations. No. How is it you do this in StreamerBot? I need to turn on a Twitch channel point rewards. Did that channel point reward go live there? Funkyman316, congratulations. You have redeemed Bubble Time. Yes, there she's there, man. She's like, here's my dinner biscuits. Yes. Funkyman316, thank you very much for feeding my wee dog. She doesn't know how it all happens. She doesn't know that somebody has just done it. But at least that works. I need to add some sound, so there is a microphone in as part of that system. And it really adds to it when she's like, gam, 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 when you hear her wee noises. But I disabled the microphone because I think the Chinese server that it's connected to might be spying on us. But I want to temporarily enable the microphone when it's all working. We should have a similar redeem to feed yourself. We absolutely should. Upstairs Down, thank you very much for these bits. Thanks for 45 bits. Thanks for 50 bits. Thank you very much for doing that. Chameleon, Funkle Albert, Fat Dad, B Dolan, Docto, Lucy Kelly, Beneath the Headphones, Gary Black. Thank you very, very much for subbing. Welcome in, everybody. How you doing? So that pepper feeder thing works rock solid. It's absolutely fine. Works great, and I'm really happy about it. The only thing that I want to do is improve the graphics a wee bit. Oh. Should have been a bubble blast there. There wasn't a bubble blast. I wonder if the bubble robot's changed its IP address. It's as if the bubble robot isn't getting any power. Alright, we might have blown up the bubble robot. I can't even do a manual blast. Let me see if I can do blasts. Man, I'm problems within problems here today. No, it's... Let me just diagnose the bubble robot. Cressy M86, how you doing? Thank you very, very much. Welcome in. How's it going? So the bubble gun should blast if I press this. And it looks like... It looks like the bubble gun is stopped working. We've got a dead bubble gun. The bit that I've added onto it's working fine. However, I think this plug that I got is maybe stopped working because it was emitting a high-pitched scream. Why is everything shite? Everything is just constantly shite, man. Aye, bubble gun isn't receiving any power. Why is it not receiving power? Couldn't tell you. Couldn't tell you. But if we get a successful power in, then it should start working again. The wires are in the right place. Is this right? That looks right. Plug that in there. Try it again. Now, the bit that I've made is working, but the power isn't going into the bubble gun for some reason. I wonder if this plug can maybe only output either USB or to the other thing. Maybe it only outputs one at a time. Man, I'm problems within problems here. So let's just plug the plug in, but not the USB. That appears to be the case. So I bought this plug. Check me out, man. Bought a plug for the bubble gun, right? Bought the plug for the bubble gun that has got an inbuilt USB, but also can output a 4.5 volts power. But as it turns out, I don't think it can do both at once. Even though the one thing has got both things on it. Caravora restarted the machine for here so that I could feed Pepper. So what we need to do is plug the USB into a different thing, and that's fine. Plug the USB in here, plug the plug into here. Right. And so now if I do this, I hope it stops. Aye, there we go, it stopped. There we go. Look at me, I've solved a problem. I've solved a problem. Ribbon FM, how you doing? Welcome in, how's it going? This big telly isn't on, but let's put the big telly on. Trinitron socket 1 is, I need to enable it here. Then we need to do this here. Then we need to do that. And all of these should be on as well, but they aren't quite working for some reason. Don't understand why. Oh, and then I need to do that. Aye, we're fine, all that's working. Ribbon FM, thank you very much for subbing. Welcome in, how's it going, how's it even going? So, I do have another socket called mini CRTs. And I think I can put them on. So they should warm up. Aye. So 2 out of 3 are working. Then I can turn them off like that. And so I wonder if, and again, I'm just getting distracted here. Because we are about 4 problems deep, man, but I'm fixing them. '87 Roll Duke, thank you very, very much for subbing. Welcome in. How's it going, '87 Roll Duke? Thank you very much. Got this up and running again. Everything's good. Everything is good. So what I want to just try and do when we're here, because if I don't do it here, I will forget about it. Those mini CRTs need to be activated when... In fact, no, I need to do this later because I need to create a webhook in which to turn on my mini CRT televisions. However, when you see a profile picture here, these 3 tellies should switch on as well. And that's going to be cool because I figured out a way of doing that. But what I haven't figured out a way of doing currently is figuring a thing out so that when I go to the loft, right, because we all know the loft, it looks like... Did I just hear biscuits?
No, I said, can I have my straw?
Oh, alright, I thought I heard pepper biscuits getting dispensed. And I was like, shouldn't it? Somebody's hacked into the pepper biscuit system. It's hard. So, right, if we do this, and if I do that, I should be able to get a loft stream. But I forget where the loft is plugged into. And even if it's switched on correctly upstairs, I don't think it's switched on correctly upstairs. Which means we need to head back upstairs. Did the stream do something when the ghost biscuit dispensed? Or was that my connection? I don't know. Don't add more problems on, Dolan, please. I'm absolutely at my capacity. I'm absolutely at my capacity. Don't add on other things. What about a 1030 treat dispenser? I would like that. Don't create problems. See, that B Dolan is a troublemaker. I'm in a position just now, right, where I'm now downstairs and the fuck? I didn't do that. I was clicking on this one. I can hear myself back. Can you hear me mute twice? Fuck. Right, hold on. Right, was it that doubled stuff up? 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. Let me fix this. I think I've just got too much technology. And that's... But anyway, I've bought 64 gigabytes of RAM for the Bubble Robot machine, and so that'll be coming through soon, and that's going to fix everything, man. That's going to sort it all. Okay, so something happened there where, and again, this is the Elgato Wavecast piece of software. Let me show you the Elgato Wavecast piece of software. Right? So this here is a piece of software that I paid over £40. I think it was like £47, right? And this is the remote PC that is upstairs. That's a loft computer. And what I'm going to do is hit connect, and it looks like... Hold on, am I hearing myself doubled again? No, I'm not. 1 2 1 2. So it looks like when I hit connect, it's somehow feeding the audio back here. So I'm going to try and... 1 1 2. So I'm not hearing feedback now. 1 2 1 2 1 2. And then if I look at the audio mixer here... EK Dons, how you doing? Thank you very much. EK Dons asks, afternoon James, what did you have for your tea last night? Rachel treated me to a nice kebab. It was brilliant. Nice big bits of meat. It was excellent. For some reason, Cinema 4D has launched, and I've not used Cinema 4D for over a year. I didn't even know if it was installed. EK Dons, thank you very much. Welcome in. How's it going? I'm a man just floundering about with technology, trying to get it all working. So it says connected. EK Dons, thank you very much for subbing, and thanks for testing my memory as well. So what we've got happening now is, in fact, let me change the Wi-Fi network that my phone is connected to, because that'll come in handy in a wee second. My brain's at capacity, so I'm not on the Internet of Things Wi-Fi network. I want to be on the main network that allows 5G access. But the main network's not coming up. There it's coming up now. Okie dokie. So, right, remember the diagram that I drew? This is one of the PCs. This is this PC, which is why it says this PC. And the remote PC is the upstairs one. And usually people set this up to play video games, but I'm not playing video games. I'm doing loft shit, right? But video game PC is the loft one, okay? Okay. And so it can transfer audio both ways, but I don't need it both ways. I just need it one way, right? And so the way that I need it is the microphone from the remote PC comes through to this PC, right? But also sometimes I'll be on a browser or something upstairs as well. I've been looking at a YouTube tutorial or something. You need to be able to hear that as well, right? So Avgas has redeemed Hydrate. I do actually have water just outside the door. Give me a wee second. I'll go and get some water. Thank you very much for the water, Avgas. So I reckon all the hardware, everything is in order. It's fizzy water. I'm a Tory now. Avgas, thank you very much for this. Cheers, I needed it. Oof. Thirsty work this. I found loads of these, by the way. Look at these tiny wee micro cassettes. Look at how small they are. Like, I do have big hands, but look how tiny. That's a cassette for Pippa. Look at how wee that is. So she can listen to her Bon Jovi. And I've got lots of these. Look at these. So I need something to be able to play them on. And until I find that, they will just live here on my desk. Okie dokie. For an answer machine, I think so. This is Elmhurst Spring. I remember we looked this up on Google Maps a wee while ago. And it was just like some industrial estate. So, what we've got is a piece of software. This here. More like Bon Jovi. I like it. That's good. And do you remember just a second ago when I hit connect and then you could hear me twice for some reason? I wonder why that is. Anyway, so what I would like to do, and I've tried audio from OBS. I've tried that. And I'm looking at my audio output just here. And if I select that, nothing comes through to this output. And I should hear something in the background because the microphone upstairs carries a lot of room noise. So the room noise is actually at like minus 40 decibel or something like that. Thought should be into the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Beneath headphones never come back. That's you. That's you. Timed out for life. So within OBS, so this just came up. Within OBS Studio, right, I've got my microphone being monitored into OBS, but using Wavelink as an output device. And I thought that then would allow this to come straight into here. And it isn't allowing it to come straight into here. And if I look at my audio effects, so basically it's going to be this sort of stream. You're going to be watching me try to diagnose stuff because it was either this or I didn't stream today because I was thinking, no, I'll stay off stream for another day and I will get all this audio shit fixed. But no, because yous are all, yous like it when I'm doing techie stuff. So the loft audio, what if I put this to game? And all my audio devices aren't in alphabetical order as well. You really are struggling to... mic in, Camlink Audio 1, Wavelink Microphone Effects, Camlink Pro Audio 3, Elgato Virtual Audio for Wavecast. I've tried that, it's no that. What's that Roscoe film you have on your desktop? Never you mind. I'll show you that in a wee second. Let's open Wavelink. So here, right, if audio was coming from upstairs into, if it really was coming from upstairs into this game channel, you would be able to see it here. This would be flickering, and it isn't. Right? And that's kind of brutal. Because that should be working. However, there is the ability to only put the microphone from one way to another. And really, I only really need the microphone. It would be great to get other system audio from upstairs, but really, I just need the microphone, right? So let's switch. Did you see that? I pressed a button and the arrows are now going the other way. So what we can do now is choose a USB microphone from upstairs, and then that should be going into Wavecast. And I've got Wavecast selected here, audio input Elgato Wavecast. And the microphone from upstairs, microphone USB audio, is going into Wavecast, which is here, and yet I'm not seeing any flickering on it. And that should be, because that's the setup. So I don't know how to get my microphone from the upstairs computer into this Wavecast thing. It's difficult, isn't it? You can't find your ground coffee, Ribbon FM? Oh no! I've just recently started getting into grinding my own coffee in the morning. Rachel got me one of these like grind things. It's very good. It's very, very good. So, I honestly couldn't tell you how to do this. What I did manage earlier is, upstairs I played a video, played just a YouTube video, and I was able to hear the sound of the YouTube video downstairs. And that's good, that's promising, it shows it all works, it shows that my network is capable of working with this sort of stuff. You know what I mean? But I'm unable to do my microphone. You know what I mean? No, Tuna Bistro, I appreciate your concern. I appreciate your concern, but I'm at a level, I'm not a coffee connoisseur, and I'm at a level that I really like. So it's basically, I grind up the coffee just in a manual thing, and then I've got like a coffee filter and one of these, what do you call it? Is that a V60 or something? I don't even think it is. Right here, I've just recently, just today, re-flattened everything on the upstairs computer to upgrade it to Windows 11. So I don't have remote desktop upstairs. But if I did have remote desktop, I would be scared to accidentally dox a big code or something like that, and then one of you would be able to hack into my upstairs machine and all of that. I'm about to get a niche zero and my partner's trying to talk me out of it. I think I'm quite happy with my coffee scenario. Can't parsec do all this stuff? I'm unsure. I don't know. I've tried lots of different things to sort the audio out, and everything that I've got to work so far, the audio seems to drift after about an hour. But this brand new bit of software that cost me, I'm sure it was like 47, but I'll tell you how much it was. I've got my card out and I was ready to flash my card. Tell you how much this cost me earlier today. £44.95. It's the most I've paid for software in my life, I think. And hey, guess what doesn't work? Hey, guess what doesn't work? Restarted both machines, clicked about, fannied about, arsed about as well. Hey, guess what doesn't work? Somebody was asking what the Roscoe thing is on my desktop. Here it is.
Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody. This is Roscoe here.
Whoops.
Twitch.tv.
It's only bloody Roscoe himself. Hiya, how's it going? I know him. Roscoe, welcome in. That's a wee bit scary. We've had lots of spooky coincidences in the stream already today already. I think there's pipes is in the system. Hello Roscoe, thank you very much for subscribing. Welcome in, how's it going? Did you enjoy your holidays? That's Roscoe just back for his holidays, I think, unless you're still over there. Somebody was asking what the Roscoe video was on my desktop, so just so that you don't think that I'm like a mad deviant or something like that, this is all the video was. It was a test of some software a wee while ago.
Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody. This is Roscoe here.
So if it isn't clear, right, down the bottom left is an actual Roscoe stream. Up here is a custom bit of video that I've made. And then I used software, and I forget what the software was. It might be Runway ML. And it creates this output so that I can make Roscoe say, or anybody say, and perform in a way that I've performed on the input video. And it's not cool, man, because imagine.
Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody. This is Roscoe here. Twitch.tv/Roscoe. But let me tell you, you should be watching 10:30 on Twitch as well. Twitch.tv/10:30 on Twitch. Hey, hey. Jeez-o. Jeez-o.
That's something, isn't it? That's something, isn't it? Anyway, something for a different day. Roscoe says those Mike Tyson edibles are nothing to be trifled with. Well, I mean, it says it on the tin, Mike Tyson's a big fella. That's like taking, horse cocaine or something like that. Anyway. Roscoe, see the tweet that you posted, or wherever it was, Blue Sky or wherever, where apparently you won hundreds of thousands of dollars? Was that patter? Or did you actually win hundreds of thousands of dollars? Because congratulations if you did. Also, can I get some? Just a wee amount. But it's good to have you back. Pretty convincing, but it has your eyes. I think a video like that, like I'm presenting it to you with the before and the after. You only won $200. Congratulations anyway. I thought you'd won like a house, basically. I thought it was like 250 grand or something. I was like, bastard, man. I want to win 250 grand or something. But I hope you enjoyed your Less Than Jake and your Blink 182 and your Lagwagon and your Offspring and your Avril Lavigne. I hope you had a nice time. By that video there, for what it was, I only clicked 3 things and it made all of that happen. That's something. Anyway, the point of today is that I really need to fix the telly. The telly in the living room's buggered. I went onto YouTube and apparently my model of telly, of course, the backlight in it, I thought it was something to do with my automation. Turns out it isn't, right? But here's what I thought happened, right? The telly has got a Chromecast plugged into it, but the actual television itself can go onto the internet. But of course, I have never connected it to the internet. It's got inbuilt Wi-Fi, so it's got like an inbuilt Netflix app and stuff like that. But I don't want my telly connected to the internet if I've got a Chromecast in the back of it, because who knows what websites my telly's going to go onto. You know what I mean? I don't need it, don't want it. It's never happened. So recently, I've been getting into home automation, and take this from me, everybody, never, ever get into home automation. Don't do it. Everything's buggered. Rachel can't even turn on the lights. Everything's buggered. So, I decided to connect my telly to the internet for the first time ever, because I can then, via my home automation system, turn the telly off. And I couldn't do that otherwise unless I physically went up and pressed it off, or if I got a remote. But wouldn't it be good if I could use a voice assistant and be like, Hal, turn off my telly? And Hal would be like, okay, James. And it would turn off the telly. That would be good, right? So in the pursuit to achieve that, I connected my telly to Wi-Fi. And it went on Wi-Fi, got its own IP address, reserved IP address, did all of that, added it to a fucking spreadsheet I've got of devices. Then I went to bed, woke up, and later that night, Cudder was on. Cudder went live at twitch.tv/Cudder. And I turned on my television to watch Cudder, except the television wouldn't turn on. And I was like, alright. And so what I deduced must have happened was, when I connected my telly to Wi-Fi, it must have downloaded new firmware or some sort of software update or something like that. And maybe it got buggered in the process of updating. Maybe an error happened, and now my telly doesn't turn on. It's only like 4 or 5 years old or something like that. It cost me about 300 quid. Now when I turn on my telly, just sits there not illuminating, nothing. There's a wee green light, flashes for a wee bit and stays on. Telly doesn't come on. I'm like, oh no. I'm like, do I tell Rachel? Rachel's already justifiably angry that she can't turn on the lights. Now she can't turn on the telly in the pursuit of, progress. I'm regressing everything. Everything's fucked. Everything's fucked. So I looked online. I looked on the Panasonic website. Turns out it's not made by Panasonic. It's made by a company called Vestel. And Panasonic is only the name on the badge for it, right? However, what you can do is, right, see if your firmware's buggered, it's fine, because you can get a USB flash drive. You can go onto the website, you can download the firmware, you can put the firmware on the flash drive, you can stick a flash drive into the telly, and you boot it up holding down the power button, and then it will load the firmware from the USB drive into the telly, flash the telly, everything's great, right? Except, went onto the website, it didn't have my brand of telly. No. And so I'm looking at other websites for the actual brand of telly that I've got, the GX blah 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 43 something firmware USB. And in Google, you know what Google's like now? In Google, all these results, and click here for the USB, and you click on the website, and there's a big list of tellies, and is my telly in the list of tellies? No, it isn't. Even though Google has served me that as the result when I have explicitly typed in the model number. Model number for my telly is about 16 characters long. So I've typed it into Google and it's hit me with, here's all these results. Every single one didn't have the firmware for my telly. Went onto the Panasonic website, didn't have the firmware for my telly. Went onto the Panasonic Japanese, pure Google Translate, translating Japanese in real time to try and find the firmware for my telly. No. I'm like, right, let's go on to the Panasonic UK help thing. And that is the worst of them all. You type in the model number, it's like, I know what you're talking about. Click here, you click here, and it's like this AI tool shite. And the AI tool's like, what do you want to know about your telly? You type in firmware, USB download, and it's like, no. But it gives you other questions that you might want to know instead. One of them is, how do I clean my television? Imagine going onto the website to find out how to clean your telly. I clicked on it, it's nothing important, it's just you use a wet cloth and turn it off first. I was livid. Anyway, as it turns out, my model of television, you cannot update the firmware via a USB drive, even though another website said that you could, but you can't. My television, you must update the firmware via going into a menu, right? And then you update it downloads the firmware inside a menu. But guess who can't get into the menus because the fucking telly doesn't work? This guy, man, I'm a mug. So I can't get into the menus to update the firmware. So all of this took about 2 days, right? I'm 2 days deep into trying to fucking turn on my telly now. Rachel's livid, justifiably so. So then it's like 4:30 in the morning, I'm going to bed, and I just type my model number into Google. No, type into YouTube. And there's some good guys on YouTube, man. Telly experts on YouTube. Here's how to repair tellies. And one guy was like, right, what happens when the backlight doesn't come on? And he stripped out the telly, And it turns out, right, I reckon that it's got nothing to do with the Wi-Fi, firmware, all of that pish. It's got nothing to do with that. That was just me being superstitious because that's the last thing that I did, which meant that the breakage I assumed was something to do with that, but I don't think it's anything to do with that. I think it's to do with faulty connectors that are at the backlight, where the backlight meets the main board inside the telly. Because according to this YouTube guy, he's like, aye, this is a common problem. What is it he called it? The famous backlight connector problem. I was like, alright. All the symptoms perfectly match what I'm going through with my telly. I'm like, alright. And then I saw another guy did the exact same fix. Basically, the backlight are LED strips, right? And they just mate with a thing on the motherboard. So on the motherboard, there's two connectors. The backlight strips just mate there, right? But see these two connectors? They're just like copper pads on a PCB, right? Like a Mega Drive cartridge. You know what I mean? So these things just mate in there. And what these guys did to fix it was just put 2 dots of solder on the wee copper pads, and it works. Job done. It works brilliant. Something like that, right? Cool. So I turned on the telly the next day. Just went in, and I recommend you try this. See, whenever your computer or something isn't working right, and you've tried everything, right? I recommend going out the room and just come back in the room confidently and just turn it on as if it should work. Try and intimidate it, right? Just act as if there's nothing wrong. Just turn on the telly, just sitting down to watch the telly because it should work because everything's fine. And the telly came back on. It did. It worked. And according to the YouTube guys, aye, that happens because these wee connector things, they're intermittent, you know. So if if there's a contact broken or something like that, it doesn't work. But then it will work for a couple of days, then it goes back to not working, right? And because that happened, that means that it's definitely not a firmware issue, nothing like that, everything's fine. See right now, see right this second, the telly's working fine. But at any point, the telly could stop working again. And so what we really need to do is get the telly up into the loft, strip it all down, potentially breaking it in the process, resolder the LED connector bits, connect it all back together, there you go, job done, everything's brilliant. But the issue that I'm facing, before I can even do that, I'm problems within problems, man. I'm like Russian doll to do with tech problems, and it's doing my boxing. The situation that I'm in just now is that I can't stream for the loft because the microphone in the loft doesn't talk to this computer, even though I've purchased, and it cost me, how much was it again? £43. Earlier today I bought Elgato software called what's it called? Wavecast. And that software cost me £44.95. And hey, guess what? It doesn't work. It's not an Elgato mic, but it doesn't need to be an Elgato mic. Hey, guess what? It doesn't work. Anyway, I'm going to read the chat. Roscoe says, I took a 10mg edible, which turned out to be way stronger than our 10mg edibles, and it sent me to the Shadow Realm. That's a shame, man. Were you in the middle of like a big gig and all of that, and thousands of people and intimidating? I've told you about the time that I went to see Radiohead. This is before they turned out to be baddies, right? And my mate was, he baked some hash cookies. And it wasn't weed cookies, it was hash cookies. It was like dirty Coatbridge hash. And he baked it into these cookies, just like ready mix. It was the most foul stuff. It was gritty, right? So he'd made like 10 of these or something. They were strong, man. And we were outside the gig, and all the pals were inside the gig. It was just me and him. We arrived. He's got Tupperware with cookies. We were going to distribute them. However, and this was in Glasgow Green, we got to the bit where you go in and there's like police with dogs and all of that, and they're like doing checks on everybody, and we're like, oh no, because it's a lot of money we'd collectively put into these hash cookies. He's like, what do we do? I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, do you want to hide the Tupperware? We could go in, then when we come back out, we will find it again. And he's like, we're looking about, and it's just like a big, it's Glasgow Green. There isn't really anywhere to hide anything. Sabertooth Hamster, thank you very much for subbing. Welcome in. How's it going? So he was thinking about like chucking them over the side. That's good. That's good. He was thinking about throwing the Tupperware over the side of a wall and trying, but we couldn't see what the other side of the wall was. Do you know what I mean? And he's like, "Do you want to just eat them?" And I'm like, right." So we halved. I had five hash cookies just on my own, and it was foul, man. And by the time I started eating the second one, I was coming up on the first one. Then I had an additional 3 after that, and it was just horrible, man. I went in and standing in a gig, just like, oh no. And I could swear everybody in the gig was all just like looking at me like, and they weren't, but I could swear they were. And then Bat for Lashes came on, and there was a woman playing a saw with a violin bow. And I remember thinking to myself, I've never hallucinated before, but I could swear that woman's playing a saw with a violin bow. Got a bit of her saw in her neck, and just like, it was horrible. Turns out she was actually doing that. I found out later on she was actually doing that. But I had an awful time. Really one of the worst experiences in my life. I think that's the first time that I have truly felt fear, like just being terrified of my own blood, while out my cooting. And I think those neural pathways that were formed during that gig started the bad era of myself with cannabis, in that whenever I smoke now, there's about a 1 in 5 chance that I'm going to feel that I'm dying. So that's a wee shame, Roscoe. I hope it didn't tarnish your time. Dear me. I would have smashed the telly and put a new telly on a credit card and made a problem for future me. Well, Chameleon, I was secretly hoping that this television wouldn't come back on, because it's kind of an old telly just now. It can do 1080p. It's 43 inches, which is big enough. But I was secretly hoping that I had to justify the purchase of a new telly. I don't really have any money for a new telly, but I'd quite like a new telly. We were in Costco recently. They've got big 50 inchers, man, that are as thin as a sheet of paper and look amazing. VSVN, how are you doing? Thank you very much for subbing. Welcome in. How's it going? So at some point, I'm going to take that telly upstairs. We're going to open it up. I'm going to resolder the bits on in an attempt to repair it. But before I can achieve that, I need to fix my microphone so as that the mic upstairs can play out of the computer downstairs. And I'll be fucked if I can figure out how to do it, man. A bunch of the backlight LEDs have died on my Samsung TV. It's only like 3 years old as well. Qatari Links, if you are handy with a soldering iron, this might be the solution for you. It's on YouTube, and if I do it, you're welcome to follow me along. But it's a bit involved. It involves like stripping your telly right down, removing ribbon cables, folding protective sheets out the way, carefully removing like the LCD screen and all of that. But it is what it is. Do you maybe still have the warranty on the telly? Nah. No, I don't think so. We bought it in the old house. Soap bar brownies were always a wild card. Aye. These were made from hash where when you burned it, there would be like bits of plastic that would... Do you know what I mean? It was bad stuff that was in it. Anyway, I see Radiohead are out crying about the witch hunting interviews at the minute. Aye, I've read the headlines. I'm kind of done with Radiohead. But basically, I think Ed is still cool because he's posting stuff and things. And it's their own doing, man. Like, see if Radiohead hadn't historically been anti-war and anti-apartheid and anti-genocide and everything for the past 40 years, then they could just keep their head down and they don't need to talk about anything and they would get away with it. But Radiohead have branded themselves as being, you know, politically responsible and progressive and like one of us. And so that's what makes this particular instance. Basically, Johnny's wife is a mad Zionist, and so they're siding with him because he's their pal and one of the talented ones in the band. And what a wee shame, but ah well, that's that, isn't it? But it is what it is. Going to attempt a PS4 dust cleaning eventually. Good luck, Caravor. None of this microplastic shit. Get the microplastics back. Totally. It gave you a better done. Costco stresses me out. Folks in there are next level mental. They are chicken chaser. What I've found, because I'm autistic, right? I don't like going places, but I do like good deals. And in Costco, you find good deals. So I've got glasses that I wear that are tinted yellow. For whatever reason, they help me with it. You know, that sort of Asda light that you get. I don't like that light. And what I will never do, I will never go into Costco on the weekend. I will go in during a weekday, like dead early. Say like 9 o'clock on a Wednesday or something like that. That's Jimmy time. That's when you want to do it. But don't all of you do it, because then I'll be overwhelmed again. You know what I mean? Never go on a Sunday, never go on a Saturday. iRibbon FM, a big part of my career was when I was in art school. I made a video for Radiohead. They put it on their website. It was viewed by like so many millions or something on the internet. And it was lots of film festivals. It was at the Amsterdam Open Air Film Festival, the Buenos Aires Film Festival. I got a text from Colin Greenwood saying that it was brilliant. It was on the cover of IDN magazine in Hong Kong, all of this shit. And so in my professional career, some people still know me as the guy who made that Radiohead video. And so for a long time I carried that as sort of part of my identity. It definitely got my foot in the door. It got me an interview with Google, with The Mill, and different thing, all for this one project. And it happened just when I needed it, just when I was trying to get my portfolio seen by people. And I've been listening to Radiohead since I was about 15 years old. Every album has been at a pivotal point in my life. I absolutely adore them. I would say out of every band that plays guitars and stuff, they're the only... I'm into electronic music, right? But out of conventional sort of bands, they are the only one that I would ever listen to. So all of this stuff was hard to take in. But at the end of the day, fuck them, man. If they're going to just ignore what Amnesty International have called a genocide, like, that's not just my opinion, that's what's happening. I was reading, in fact, I don't want to tell you what I was reading. I was reading some horrific stuff that was happening in Palestine. And anyway, so I don't listen to Radiohead anymore. Arno Boko, how are you doing? Welcome in. Thank you very much for subbing. What a wonderful thing you've just done, Arno Boko. Thank you very, very much. Dearie me. See if I had full control of time. Here we go. Chameleon says, see, if I had full control of... Alright, your time, I see. 1 a.m. on a Wednesday in the 24-hour Asda would be my prime shopping hours. Just no one around, it would be bliss. That's cool. Aye. I thought you meant if you had control of time. And I was like, I want to hear what fresh hot takes you're into. I spotted that certain places have got like autism friendly hours, and I haven't tested that out, but I'd quite like to. So if you want to go shopping in Curry's at like 1:45 on a Thursday, but only the fourth Thursday of the month, or so, then they'll do that, and they will put the really abrasive music off, and they'll put their lights to like grotto lighting rather than abrasive harsh lighting, and you can go in and it's sensory like better for you, but it's always just really limited to weird times where other folk wouldn't go shopping. And so what I'm saying is, why don't they just do that all the time? You know, if it affects people so much, and it does affect me quite often. I mean, I can get through it, I can endure it, but I'd rather not. Why not just, not have music on like all the time? Because it's shite. The music you play in there is shite, Curries. So just put it off all the time and get lighting of a reasonable colour temperature. It costs the same amount. Why don't you just do that all the time? Shite music, bright light liking bastards. Anyway, but I haven't checked out the autism friendly things because I don't know when I'm wanting to shop. I can't plan when I'm going to go somewhere. I'll go somewhere when I need a thing. I would really like Blaketown. I would really like one of the Bernard's Watch scenarios, and I could just do whatever I want and take as long as I want to do things. Aye, John Gemstone, have a special hour for the people that like it really bright and loud and abrasive. Have a set time for them, and then for all of us, just make that the standard. That's what I say. But anyway, what do I know, man? Tesco Radio is decent. Fair enough, I'm unfamiliar. Anyway, it is what it is. So I'm in two ways just now. I don't know whether or not I should persist trying to get the bloody microphone in the computer upstairs functional through this, because if I do that on stream, I don't think it'll be good stream watching. So I might duck out and go off stream to make this happen, and then when it does happen, I will come back and I will fix my telly. But is it going to happen? But it should happen, because that's the one thing that it says. But I'm going to have to go into the Discord. I'm going to have to send them my diagrams and all that sort of stuff. But you would imagine that it's easy enough to make this work, because that's the one reason why the software exists in it. I don't know. Ribbon FM says, you're one of those arbitrary type Auties rather than the meticulous planning Autie. I don't do meticulous planning. I'm like the weather, man. I just, it all happens. I think I'm a double dunter. I think I'm autistic and ADHD, but I haven't been diagnosed with ADHD. I've been definitely diagnosed with autism. And I'm learning about that lucky special combo and how it can affect the way things are. I wish I was a meticulous planning person, but no, man, I just sort of dive into stuff. Anyway, it all happens when the vibe is right, but the vibe is never right, is the problem. Because then the light can't bounce off the shiny packages to drill into your subconscious and make you buy the thing. But I would buy the thing if the light wasn't as abrasive. I don't know. You have a meltdown if things don't go the way I expect. Rolling sausage, I'm no winning. I tend to not do well if I'm absolutely overwhelmed, just to the point of just like, oh my God. And I've learned that nothing will go the way that I expect. And I'm content with that, just personally. But I'm still trying to figure it all out. Every new day is a new experience, isn't it? Pedropolis, nah, it's not going to happen for me. I believe my local NHS don't want to do it. So the only way that I could have an ADHD assessment is if I went private, but you're talking thousands of pounds. So I don't think it'll happen for me. We do need dark mode shopping, we 100% do. 100%. Right, guys, listen, I'm away to swear at a microphone for a wee bit, and I think it would be best if you weren't there to hear it. But as soon as I get the microphone working, what I intend to do is then come back here and swear at my television for a bit until I get it working. Would you like to do that? And see, in the meantime, though, what I'm going to do... right, no, I'm not. I was going to take you over to Pendleton Ward, because Pendleton Ward once came into this chat, and I think he's a cool person. So I was going to take you over to hang out with Pendleton Ward. In fact, I maybe still will, but he's doing some... I think he's restreaming another channel. He's restreaming like a sumo wrestling channel or something. So whatever the hell it is, I'm sure it'll be interesting. Going to publish an article called "The Man Who Made the Computers Playing Radiohead Video Now Sits in the Dark Because He's Bricked His Lights and Telly." Aye. Not okay, computer. Shite, computer. Listen, everybody, keep it real, take it easy. Thanks very much for coming in, Roscoe. I hope you come down safely for your mental Mike Tyson trip. I'll hopefully be back very, very soon, as in a matter of minutes, because it's obviously just going to be dead easy to configure this microphone because I paid £40 odd for the software. Obviously, it's just going to be brilliant. But anyway, until I see you next time, I just want to say my name's James Houston, and Houston's boosting. But before I go, enjoy this magic trick. That was good. I liked that one. That was alright, that one. See you later. Bye. Love you. Bye. Bye. Say hello to Pendleton Ward. He's a cool guy, man. He knows, what's his chops? What's that guy's name? Swatpaz. Pendleton knows Swatpaz. Yeah, it's a mutual. See you later, everybody. Bye. Bye, telly people. We're going over to twitch.tv/Pendleton Ward.